Hey, what's up, guys? Jay here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 at 23, my team career mode for episode number 13 today for the Qatar GP, which should be a very interesting one. Our first Qatar GP in F1 at 23, and if you didn't see the last episode, well, it was an absolute well, it was an experience. Let's say crashing out. Red flags. It was a very chaotic race. Start the opening of the race, very chaotic. But we did end up crashing out and scoring nil points in the Japanese GP, and it was a disaster. Like probably the worst race we've had so far, but it was a good one. So I would highly recommend you go and check it out. We did get tangled up with the Alfa Romeo of Guan Yu Zhou, I'm pretty sure it is, and it was massive red flags. The best way to basically understand what happened is go and check that one out. It is a good episode, and I did have a lot of fun filming it, but not as much as I am about to have, as we did have a good practice. But it's all eyes to the basically start of the action. I have no wheels. I have no wheels on the car. That's interesting. Well, so now going out for my lap, we did find out last time that the car is very slippery in the rain, and the handling on F123 in the rain is a lot better than it was in F122. Felt a lot more comfortable driving in the rain, but the car does feel like it is coming to life around Losail. Might be a track that suits our car just that wee bit more as we come around. This time that Alexander Albon does hit fastest lap, but as I was saying, I do feel really comfortable around Losail. It's probably one of my favourite tracks on the game this year anyways. Vegas, from what I've played, is insane. But championship wise, we are definitely in a battle for a place in the top 10 with the constructors, where we kind of need to be. Anyways, top 5 is where our league, but I think we could be aiming for 6th by the end of the year. But we do just have to keep on performing as much as we can. Only 10 cars have set a lap time, so we'll be able to see where we are within them 10 cars, but we'll probably be a bit slower than I would have liked. But we are going to cross the line and go 6th quickest here in our first run in at Losail. But on the second run here, doing a voiceover, I could have took turn 1 a wee bit quicker. We did get a good exit, which improves our time by about a tenth. We did go off there, just somehow not getting a warning for track limits. And what I don't get is I've went off quite a lot of times here in this qualifying run, and I do have the track limit settings set as high as they can go, and I have went off the track a couple times in other qualifying runs in different circuits, but I didn't do anything. But we are going to cross the line 8 tenths up, got back up into 6th behind Lewis Hamilton. The Alpine has brought some upgrades and is up in 4th, and the track does still have a lot of evolution to go, so hopefully we can set quicker lap times here in Losail. But that was my final run in Q1. We do make it through. Our teammate finishes last, which is a bit of a kick in the guts. But now the Prix is still in F1, which is a completely different story in real life. But 11th in the standings, 32 points. We should be up, as I can say there, as you could see there. The points look like they are there. We could maybe challenge for 6th in constructors. It'd be an absolute miracle if we could. But just trying to decide what tyre compound I want to go out on. I do definitely think the 85% choice is the best. I'm going to skip ahead just a wee bit before we go out for another lap, but hopefully we can put out a good performance, unlike Japan. But Japan was a good track. It is a good track, probably one of my favourite tracks in the game. But in Q2 now, I do feel more comfortable on the track. I do feel that turn 1 we could have taken it just a wee bit faster, but I do feel more comfortable in Q1 anyway than I did in Q2, getting used to the track just a wee bit more, and it looks spectacular under the lights. And this is the third last night race that we are going to have, so soak it in while it lasts is probably going to be what I'm going to be doing through this race, and hopefully going to try and aim for a good result in the race, and hopefully nothing too bad happens. But coming around the tighter, one of the tighter turns of the lap, not as tight as the turns get though, was probably my favourite part of the lap, which is this fast flowing bit. I do go off track again, not getting track limits, which is so weird. Honestly, my track limits are as high as they can go, but I don't know if it's just Qatar and all the other tracks that has happened that you can do track extending on. We're running down to the line, and it is going to be a last place. That's interesting. Our first run we do go last place, so hopefully we can go for a better run for the second lap here, going a lot tighter down into turn 1, and already you can see there how much faster we were on the throttle and how much just of a better line we got through there. You see how much of a better line we got through there as well, losing just a wee bit of time though to go down the straight into this fast horseshoe section. Do gain quite a lot of time if we did go off there, but now into probably the tightest turn of the lap, trying to get a good exit, and it is a good exit, but you can see everybody there trying to cross line to set their final lap times. Only 5 seconds now remaining in qualifying. We are going to go into this hairpin. Qualifying is done. We have 2 minutes to get to the line. We're going to get there, no problem. We're about 1.1 seconds up on our time, and can we maybe just get through Q2? Carlos Sainz goes fastest, which is unexpected. In that Ferrari we are gaining time. We are still in last place. I don't think it's going to be the best lap in the world, but we are now going to approach the final turn. We have approached that. We are on the exit of the last turn. DRS is imminent, DRS is on. We're down straight under the Qatar sign. We are going to cross the line, 1.8 seconds up on our time. What are we going to do? And we are just going to make it through into Q3 in 9th place in our Q3 appearance in our first Qatar GP. Carlos Sainz goes fastest, but Charles Leclerc and George Russell, and it's been a good qualifying session so far for George Russell, and not the best for Max Verstappen, as he is in a title fight with George Russell, and it isn't. It is Max, George and Lewis in the standings. Probably something you, I wasn't expecting anyways, going in to the first season of my team. But again, choosing the tyres to go out of, we are going to go out on the old set of compound tyres. Now for our lap, our first lap in Q3. I am aiming for the top 5. I do think we do have the pace that was showed so far in qualifying to get in that top 5. We will be a bit wide though, but as I'm saying, it is unexpected for George Russell, anyways, in my eyes, to be second in the championship and competing with Max, and he's only about 20. He is only a win away point wise from Max Verstappen, so Max Verstappen either has to get his finger out and start performing, or George Russell's going to win his first World Championship, which would be an absolute shock, and what a way to kick off the or end to our my team career mode. But if the points keep on going like this, we might generally have a title fight on our hands in our first season of are my team career mode, but setting green sectors. Anyways, because I'm losing the capability to pronounce sectors for a second there, but now coming around Turnley should be going down into 6th. I went down into 5th, which would have lost me a wee bit of time as well because I am engine braking, but now going down the straight. What can we do up into 8th here? And we are going just to set a lap time that is not good enough to get us up in any places. Still in 10th, which honestly isn't good enough. But now for our second run, we are about 4 tenths up. Coming around the tight hairpin, we go off the track just a wee bit, carrying a wee bit too much speed. 4 to 5 seconds until the session is up, and we are a tenth up on our time. 2 tenths up, 3 tenths up, and now 4 tenths up as we go into the tight hairpin. Again, one of the tightest turns of the lap, and probably a good overtaking opportunity into the sprint, which is this weekend, and the actual race. So hopefully we can perform, but it is all about our qualifying position. Where can we start the sprint race from? Only 12 seconds remaining. George Russell goes fastest and snatches pole, and that'll be good for his championship fight against Max Verstappen. We are going to come around the final turn, 1 second up on our time, almost 1.1 up on our time. We're going to cross the line, and we're going to just go up into 10th. We are just going to start, which honestly, for me anyways, is disappointment, but it's probably most realistic. 10th, George Russell gets pole, Max Verstappen in 7th, and that Red Bull is starting just to slowly fall off this season so far, so you will never know what the championship is going to do, but we are going to start 10th with Esteban Ocon in front, and we do just beat Pierre Gasly. He was knocked out in the first session of qualifying, I am pretty sure. But now for the second practice. I didn't really commentate much on the first practice because I was more talking about Japan, but we have had a good season so far. Probably to be expected type of season with a rookie team coming in, scoring points here and there, crashing out quite a lot, which on my end is not the best. Crashing out near enough every third race, but apart from that, points be good. Points have been really good in the season, and hopefully we can carry on our point streak. It did end in Singapore, and then just kind of continued with bad luck in Japan as me and my teammate are synced there. Oscar Piastri has been doing okay, but going to some of the upgrades, we are going to bring in some side pod upgrades, and that will be off us just before Brazil, and that is a major upgrades that we can bring to the car. We are going to improve that, and we are going to move up to third engine with that upgrade, I am pretty sure. But now for the sprint.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Verstappen, Norris, Ocon, Iceman, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Bottas, Stroll, Joe, Magnussen, Albon, Sargent, Iwasa, De Vries and Oscar Piastri. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, someone of tremendous experience and insight. It's the man himself, Anthony Davidson. Should we kick off our conversation with George Russell?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? Besides that, of course, any kind of turn one incident could completely turn the race on its head. Let's keep our fingers crossed everyone can get through in one piece.
Well, here for the sprint now, starting on the soft compound tyre. It says it's going to take us about 9 minutes to finish this race. But now we go to the 5 red lights. Hopefully we can have a good race. The 5 red lights are on and they are out, and it is a good start for me. It's a good start for Ocon, who's alongside me. It's good start for Norris. We're absolutely rocket shipping up from 9th position. We go up into 6th and we're ahead of Mr. Max Verstappen now. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, is behind us and we are up into 6th, and this is good points so far right at the start of the sprint race. Lewis Hamilton is going to try and fight his way up the inside through the longest hander. I squeeze him to the inside. I think there's a wee bit of tyre banging on his front and my rear end of the car, but now going through the tightest turn of the lap, we do still stick ahead of Lewis Hamilton as we're about halfway through sector 1 now, but now coming round probably for me anyways, the funnest part of the lap, and now we finish in sector 1. We finished that actually quite a wee bit ago. We're about to finish sector 2 and about to go into sector 3, but now Lewis Hamilton is going to try and fight us. We are in sector 3 now, but coming through probably the fastest part of the lap, and you're gonna flat out through all of them. That triple apex turn there, but Lewis Hamilton is going to try and fight his way up the inside of the last turn. He isn't going to make it stick. He's going to try and fight up on the exit with the boy in ERS. He's going to just nudge ahead as we go up on to lap to this race. It is a proper dash to turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? Lewis Hamilton gets the lead in front of me momentarily. We do stick ahead of Lewis Hamilton and we are back up into 6th to the start of lap 2. Can we maybe try and chase down Sergio Perez? Is that too much of an ask? Go wide. Now Max Verstappen on lap 3 of this race is going to try and go right round the outside of the hairpin. I can't fight this too much. I'm going to squeeze him right to the edge, just give him enough room to stay on track. We're going to go the long way around this hairpin. He is going to try and fight us on the inside. He gets in front of us, but we are going to try and just by our time we're going to have the perfect run to the inside of the hairpin. Can we maybe nudge in front of Max Verstappen? We're going to deploy ERS. We're going to try and go up the inside of the fastest part of the lap. We do get past Max Verstappen. We're up into 6th on lap 3, but now skipping ahead to the end of lap 3, Max is going to try and challenge us on this final stretch here. But as we go on to lap 4, we do take the lead, but there goes Lewis Hamilton. Going to try and go up the inside, but we're just gonna keep 6th place. Lewis Hamilton's going to try on the inside. It's not going to work on that 4 of the race, and we do stick ahead of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton ends up overtaking Max, and now Lewis Hamilton's going to try and look to overtake us. Doesn't work though. We go wide out the exit of the last turn. Lewis Hamilton goes past. Max Verstappen's going to try and get past, and Lando Norris is going to try and join in on the fight. The 4-car battle here, but Lando's somehow fallen off pretty quickly, and it's a 3-car battle now. Max is going to try and go up the inside of me to get 6th place off of me. Going to just try and keep it as much as we can. We do not have the pace to be fighting with the Red Bull, but we do have the pace to be fighting somehow with the Mercedes in Qatar. We're going to try and go right round the outside of Max Verstappen on our first Qatar GP, and it is successful, but he is going to try and just stick up as much as we can as we go through the tightest section of the lap. But now Max Verstappen is going to try and stick with us on lap 5 of this race. We go through the hairpin now. He is going to try and get the inside line. He gets the inside line. We're going to have a proper scrap with him once again, but he does get ahead, and I'm not going to deploy ERS, and I've realised that we maybe just don't have the pace to fight with Max, and we might just have to just try and fight with Lewis. But now in P7 it is still points. Lewis Hamilton secures that last point paying position, but he is going to try and go round the outside of us as we go through the last turn now. He is just going to nudge in front, but we're going to have DRS. We're going to have the slipstream off of Max. We're going to have the DRS off of Lewis, but Lewis is going to have the DRS off of us. I'm going to guess if I got DRS off a match, but I'm going to go and dive down the inside. Lewis Hamilton has a wee bit of a lock up here, going to try and fight back with his goal as we go through to turn 2 now. Is he just going to stick with us? No, he isn't, and we do take 7th place back on lap 5 of the race. Now on lap 6 he did pass us, and I think that is the end of our spell in 7th position. And now going on to the final lap of the race, we are down into 8th, and now we have to try and chase back after Lewis and maybe, just maybe, get 7th place back off of him. I did try and push my absolute hardest on lap 7, but Lewis just kept on pulling and pulling away, so I thought I would just sit back for the last sector. But we are going to cross the line. Lando's just going to get closer and closer and closer as we go down to the line. Or are we just going to get 8th place? Yes, we are. We're going to get 8th place, 1 point playing position here in Qatar, and it is still points for our first Qatar GP and our first Qatar sprint, as we do have the race next. It was a pretty good sprint. Charles Leclerc wins the sprint with George Russell in 2nd and Max in 6th. And this is not going to be good for Max Verstappen's championship bid. George Russell doesn't leapfrog him, but does get a couple points. And now for the race.
There's a long history of two-wheeled motorsport action here, but in 2021, Lewis Hamilton won out as part of an epic battle that year with Max Verstappen. But who will win out tonight? So we're back here in Losail, and this is the track map. 3.34 miles, 16 turns, and just 1 DRS zone out of turn 16. It's already a fast and flowing track after all. There's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS though, through the long straight and into turn 1. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Hamilton, Iceman, Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Stroll, Tsunoda, Joe, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Iwasa, De Vries, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Iceman. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Starting 8th alongside Mr. Fernando Alonso, which is pretty weird to see he was higher up in the field, so I'm going to guess he took an engine penalty into the sprint, but we are going to go medium hards in this race and hopefully have as good of a race as we did in the sprint, but we're only just going to find out as the 5 red lights go on and the lights out and away we go. We're not next to Lewis Hamilton, we're not next to Alonso, we're next to Lewis Hamilton, but that doesn't matter, we still get a rocket ship start. We're going to dive down the inside, back up into 6th position like we did at the start of the sprint. Now, but instead of Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, it is Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris is going to try and go right the outside of me as we go into the horseshoe section. It isn't going to work. I do stay ahead of Lando, but now we have to try and chase down his teammate in 5th. But it was a very good start for myself as we go from 8th up into 6th. Then we had an absolute rocket ship start, leapfrogging the likes of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, just like we did in the sprint earlier on in this video. But Lando is quite a fast driver in that McLaren, but we are quite a fast driver in our race car. But we are just going to try and find out who's the quickest one. Lando's going to try and take the inside to outside line to go through the fast section of the lap. It doesn't not work though. We stay in 6th position as his teammate in that other McLaren is starting to slowly pull away as he is came to life in that McLaren. But as we come around the final turn to end lap 1 we do keep 6th position with Lando Norris in 7th and Lewis Hamilton in 8th, and the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton is just starting to fall off slowly as George Russell is putting in the more consistent performances, and maybe that's showing that Lewis is getting a bit old. But what's not showing Lewis is getting a bit old is he's got a good run on me going down the straight now. DRS is enabled as we are on lap 3 going down into turn 1. Lewis is just going to be there. He overtakes Lando Norris on the main straight with ERS and the slipstream off of me, but he is just going to try and stick with us as much as he can, and we are showing that we do have the pace here in Qatar, as I'm struggling to get them words out there. But Lewis Hamilton is just going to try and stick with us as much as we can as we go into the tightest section of the lap. It is not going to work though, as Lewis Hamilton just sits behind us and we are still up into 6th position on lap 3 of this race, and Lando Norris is going to try and fight back at Lewis Hamilton as much as he can, but Lewis is just going to try and stick with me as much as he can. It isn't going to work though, and we do stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton on the 3rd lap of this race. On lap 7 of this race now, here goes Lando Norris. Is going to try and stick with us as much as we can to go through the fastest section of the lap. Esteban Ocon has caught up to the back of Lando Norris as he did overtake Lewis Hamilton, but as we go round the downshift turn, as I call it, as we go from 7th to 6th back up into 7th to go round the final turn now. Lando Norris is just going to try and stick with us as we go a wee bit wide through the last time. We're going to deploy ERS on the way down the straight. Esteban Ocon is going to get DRS on Lando Norris. Lando Norris is going to have DRS on me as we go down into turn 1. What is going to happen? Lando Norris clips my rear end. We're down into the gravel. And Lando Norris, he's done it again. He's crashed me out of a race. And the car is beached in the gravel. And it's the end of the Qatar GP. Here's a replay of it. We're moving, and there's nothing I can do there. It's Lando's just sticking with me. And that is another retirement that we cannot keep on having here in our career, and I still cannot believe it. We have crashed out of the Qatar GP in some spectacular fashion. Lando Norris just crashes out once again, and can a rivalry start to brew now? As maybe this is our rivalry. Max Verstappen has his, with quite a lot of people on the grid. Lewis Hamilton has his, Charles Leclerc has his, near enough everybody has theirs except from us. And now ours just might be Lando. And it pains me to say it, but Lando might just be our rival. But on a brighter note, Charles Leclerc wins the Qatar GP, which is a shock, but George Russell crucially gets a podium, and Max Verstappen is just going to start falling behind on points if he doesn't start winning and performing. But Ferrari unexpectedly win Qatar. It was a good race, except from us crashing out, which was a pain. That's what that is. But I do hope we can start to bring the performances back up. 11th in the championship, and I'm pretty sure 7th in the constructors. There goes Max Verstappen, 23 points separate him and George Russell, and we only have now 5 races left of this career, and we might have an actual title showdown in Abu Dhabi depending on how the next few races go. 7th in the constructors. We do fall back a bit on Team Acclaim, but that is to be expected. But I do hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. It was an incredible first Qatar GP anyways for me. Points wise, no. But experience wise, it was a good race for me anyways. Learning the track, learning what our pace is around the faster, more warmer climates. But I will see you next time for the Austin GP in Texas. But do make sure to like, subscribe and comment. Helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you next time for the Texas GP here in our My Team Career Series.